Good morning and welcome back. Today we are discussing 5 tips to help you manage a high performing remote team. So again, we're discussing 5 tips to help you manage a high performing remote team. Okay, so our easy 5-step formula for managing remote teams will help help your crew exceed expectations, boost motivation, and make them feel appreciated from day one. All right, so managing remote teams isn't the same as leading an in-office crew. You can see every day. You may have experienced this issue firsthand as COVID-19 forced your employees to move out of sight and into the virtual space. While you may have focused on getting everyone used to remote work during this phase, now it's time to move on to phase 2, optimization. Okay, and so here managers need to establish a different set of rules, guidelines, and incentives. They want high performing teams that crush goals and exceed expectations. So if you're struggling with how to manage your remote team, or you want to learn how to take your management efforts to the next level, today's guide has exactly what you need. You'll find 5 proven tips that for managing remote teams and getting them to outperform, including the best ways to make your crew feel appreciated and motivated to succeed. Oh, I like this one. Yeah. All right, so 5 tips for managing remote teams and inspiring greatness. The first step to building a high performing remote team is to hire the right people. Since we discussed this strategy in detail in a previous post, we won't dive into this topic. Instead, we'll assume you've already found and vetted the right remote team members. Follow this formula and your employees will work together to achieve goals like a well-oiled machine despite being miles apart. Okay, and so number 1, set the tone with a shared vision and values. One common mistake remote managers often unknowingly make is skipping straight to the performance aspect each new hire or current employee brings. But you shouldn't focus on getting the most out of each person that you forget to explain what they're actually working for. Managers must lay necessary groundwork before anything else. These foundational pieces will help you establish common goals and shared values everyone will work toward and exemplify. So explain your North Star on purpose to each team member. This guiding principle should help focus your employees on the why behind what your company does. Do you want to help customers solve a specific problem or achieve more with your products or services? Do you aim to help people earn or save more money? Express your goals to your team at the very start. Then discuss how they should actively work to help as many potential and current customers reach this. As a single driving force, your North Star helps employees connect to the bigger picture of why they're doing what they do each day. This shared vision can help people move past bad days and plateaus where the work seems repetitive and mundane. Without knowing this higher purpose, team members can easily feel distracted, unmotivated, and like they're only working to collect a paycheck. This is especially true with remote team members who don't get the camaraderie that comes with working alongside other employees. So as you onboard new work from home employees, make sure everyone is on the same page with how they fit into the grand scheme of your business goals, and don't just stop there. Love, 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 love this. You may not always be able to explain for certain jobs that are just mundane, right? So if we think about call center jobs, we still don't want people to be motivated by just getting a paycheck, right? So what you do is you find you make a reason if you don't have one, right? So for instance, I was working in the governmental sector, so the goal is to assist those that are in need. If you're working in, let's say, a more private sector, profiting organization, the goal would be to provide excellent service, right? So you can share those things. I find if the purpose, if the why of the entire company doesn't seem to, and they might touch on this, but if the why is more so connected to a paycheck, right? Which can happen depending on your company's culture, then what you want to do is connect with each of your agents on a human kindness level, right? So I'm going to see if they're going to touch on this, but if they don't, I will get back. I will make sure that I flush that comment and thought out by the end. Okay. So number 2, establish trust and strive for connection. Rather than forcing your team to like you, you're better off striving to make connections and establish trust. If your employees see that you genuinely believe in the company's mission, they'll feel inspired and compelled to do the same. And if they have complete trust in you, you'll have a better chance of getting them to perform at a high level. The goal here is to be a leader, not a boss. You want to be someone they can look up to and learn from, not someone who orders them around and berates them whenever they don't perform well. So connect with your remote team early and often. Take the time to learn each person's strengths and weaknesses, not so you can harp on them, but to help them grow as an individual and in their career. We're not suggesting you to morph into someone who likes the same college football team and crappy reality TV. Just find common ground and focus on building that connection. Doing this will help your team see the good in you and that you're someone who can be counted on and trusted. Once this mutual respect has been earned, it'll be easier and more effective for you to, and then they go into number 3. Yes. That again kind of connects to where I was going with, if the why doesn't work, right, then you want to connect in a human kindness way. I definitely don't care about people liking me. I got over that at 39, right? I told my cousin one day, he's like, you changed a lot. And I said, yeah, I woke up 39, right? So the point is that the point is that I don't need you to like me, but I need you to understand that you will respect me, right? And how I am respected is by first offering you respect. I know that you are here to work. I assume that you are here to do your best job, regardless of what your motivation is, right? I will share with you my motivations. I will share with you the company's goals and visions. However, I will also, out of respect, take the time to learn more about you. We might like rival football teams. We might have went to rival colleges. That is still a connection. You understand that? So don't ignore even the likes and dislikes. Even the dislikes can connect you. Okay. So you just want to look for those connectors, because we don't have in-person things. I feel like it's the most beautiful thing that ever happened to me. Right. But that's me. And I'm always the optimist. I've just always been like that. And it helps me keep rolling, by being optimistic like that. But, so you want to look for those ways to connect to your people, because the more you connect with them, the more touch points that you have, the more the easier you can build trust with them. And when you build that trust, they will follow, not because you are a tyrant, but because they know you care. They know that at some level, somewhere in there, although you are personally staying balanced with how you lead them and as well as connected to the company's goals, they know that you are looking out for them. On some level, you are looking out for them. Okay. So you want to keep that in there. All right. Enough of me talking. Let's continue. Okay. So number 3, set the expectations and standards and put the right systems in place. So I'm going to connect it back to with how they left it off. So it said, once this mutual respect has been earned, it'll be easier and more effective for you to, number 3, set expectations and standards and put the right systems in place. Okay. Because that's the ultimate goal. This is the ultimate goal of how you want to manage your remote team and how you're going to inspire them for greatness. Right. So once you're able to set expectations and standards, then you can, and you put those right systems in place, we got winners. Okay. So let it stop talking. Okay, here we go. Okay. So these 2 must-have ingredients: Setting expectations and standards and putting systems in place are intrinsically connected to performance. Sharing expectations and standards during the onboarding process ensures that everybody is on the same page. Having these expectations clearly laid out early on and reinforced often will give your team a playbook to follow so they don't waste any time. You'll minimize any second guessing and green light productivity and independent workflows, okay? Set performance benchmarks to serve as motivation, not the end all be all. If you're constantly chasing numbers or having your team do the same, you'll have a recipe for burnout and unhappy employees. Instead, your benchmarks should become targets employees will attempt to hit, okay? And they'll need to be adjusted accordingly, both up and down, depending on what's going on in your business. Setting high standards and benchmarks is just the first step. You must have systems in place to ensure that these are met and kept. So create and streamline systems that quality check as employees work. These systems will keep everything organized and on track with your weekly, monthly, and yearly goals. They'll also show the level of high quality work you expect from the team. 100% agree with this. This is kind of making me think too about something I have to approach this week. But the main thing is that you've already gained their trust. You've already outlined, so first you've outlined what the company's vision is and goals, right? Second, you've gained their trust by treating them with human kindness and connecting with them. Now you're introducing to them, which started at onboarding, you're introducing to them the expectations and standards, right? And then the systems that you have put in place are you've streamlined the checks and balances. It's like the auditing, the benchmarks, the different things. It all works together to keep them motivated, right? It's not jump on you whenever you do low, whenever you don't meet it. Instead, what I do is I am going to inquire what's going on. How are you? How is everything? Right? Also, my target is higher than the client's expectation. So in reality, you're never not meeting the goal. It's just I'm trying to help you to exceed, right? So now if we're not meeting goals, that's a different conversation, right? But we have those benchmarks in place, right? And those goals, again, are higher than the client's expectations so that we are always pleasing the clients as often as possible. And then when our team kind of falters and gets too close to the client's goal, then we reach out and we find out what's going on, right? And so I think this is great when it talks about set the expectations and put the right systems in place to keep kind of a checks and balance system on what's going on with that. So it says, number one, communicate regularly and don't hover. Absolutely, don't hover. No one likes I don't know, somebody might like a micromanager. Kendra doesn't like a micromanager and Kendra does not micromanage, okay? We'll leave it at that. So after you relay your expectations and standards to your team, it's vital that you don't micromanage or hover during the workday. This generally makes employees so stressed that they can't perform their best. That's why we recommend juggling and asynchronous. Okay, so I'm gonna start that again. Rewind. That's why we recommend juggling an asynchronous style of communication with a synchronous one. Okay, so this is a simple strategy. Makes sure your team works efficiently and prevents them from feeling like they're always under a microscope. To do this, opt for check-ins at regularly scheduled times instead of sending millions of messages asking for updates throughout the day. These check-ins give you the chance to see what's going on behind the scenes without breaking someone's productivity and concentration. They'll be able to help you gauge without breaking someone's productivity. Goodness, what is going on this morning? 1 second. So these check-ins give you the chance to check to see what's going on behind the scenes without breaking someone's productivity and concentration. They'll also help you gauge whether projects are running on schedule long before a deadline is missed. Most importantly, asynchronous communication shows that you trust your employees to get their work done off site. It allows them to work in productive spurts without distraction, which is essential for high performing remote teams. Absolutely, I would say if you don't have the ability with your company to work outside of a set schedule, then the thing is to allow your team to breathe and exist on its own, right? Don't hover. It's not even required. Or I don't know any adult that likes that. I mean, I don't know. There has to be some adult that does. It's just not me or people that I talk to. So it doesn't mean that it's a negative thing, but it's just, I feel like when you do that, it incites the vibe of you don't trust people, right? And if you trusted them enough to hire them, then you should trust them enough to let them work, okay? And so, of course, you're always watching and you can step in or someone will alert you. Like, there's always going to be someone that's going to alert you and let you know. I've gotten countless, hey, Kendra, XYZ is going on, or I'll get a text message from one of my employees expressing themselves of, so-and-so is doing XYZ, and then I'll, manage corrective actions accordingly. So, just trust the people that you hired and know that they can get the job done, or else you can be a nano manager. Watch the other videos. Anyway, so number 5, offer incentives and give credit where credit is due. Your remote team should feel like you're genuinely excited and thrilled when they reach their benchmarks or surpass them. A quick kudos or shout out is usually all it takes to make people feel appreciated and a job well done. You can take this a step further by having built-in incentives that reward employees for going above and beyond. That doesn't have to be anything crazy expensive like a free month of vacation or a Tesla. You're giving away Teslas. Where that company at? No, I said, or just sending a digital gift card to buy coffee is enough to show your appreciation. When remote employees feel this kind of love, they're bound to stick around longer and work harder. And as a manager, you couldn't ask for anything better. Yes. So I definitely always practice kudos, even for the winner. I talk about this all the time. Even the winner wants to hear that they are doing a great job, and you are doing a great job because you want to hear that you are doing a great job. Okay. So, excellence is not a reason to not give a kudos. Okay. And I feel like you have to give kudos more when your team is winning, because when your team is winning, there's a target on your back. And so you got to keep them motivated, and you have to then begin to preach consistency, right? Because it is easy to burn out. Then you also want to connect that consistency with team support, making sure that you're not the only voice that is required to motivate your team, right? What if you have a day off? Are they supposed to slack because you're not there? Absolutely not, and you definitely don't want to run your team out of a fear-based situation. That's very short-lived. I could talk about that on and on for days. Actually, not on and on for days because I don't like the topic, but it's something that I most likely will have to make a video about. But we're going to conclude this here. So we're almost ready to get to work. And it says, treat your high-performing remote team right, and they'll do right by you. These 5 steps will guarantee that your remote team performs at the highest level, even if you're thousands of miles apart. While none of these tips are complicated or time consuming, they do require a bit of thought and planning on your part. Use this blueprint as a starting point and feel free to add your own twist. For example, you may decide to hold weekly video calls with your team and to connect and go over all their excellent work. Or you might have them come up with their own ideas for incentives to personalize the experience for each individual. By following these tips, you'll build a stronger remote team that outperforms your expectations and potentially exceeds what you were used to when everyone worked under the same roof. Okay, so it's just being creative, My favorite part of working from home, my favorite part of leading a team while working from home is that, it's just a new challenge, a new things and new ideas to create, how to keep them motivated, then how to influence them to excel, and then how to make them consistent at excelling. Okay. And so you want to make sure that you are keeping that in mind, and it starts by leading that way, right? And so you want to make sure that you are exceeding and excelling in your job, right? So that you can lead a winning team. Now, I thank you for staying with me and sticking it out until the end of this video. I certainly absolutely hope that you enjoyed this content as we discussed today 5 tips to help you manage a high performing remote team. And I hope you have a wonderful day today. Bye-bye. Hello, my name is Kendra, the official business renovator. Thank you for joining my channel today, and I hope that you enjoyed the content today. Feel free to like, comment, and share the video, as well as subscribe so that you can get notifications for when I release new content. Also, click the link in the bio for more products from me, as I recently released the book, The Great Promotion, and I discuss how I got promoted 4 times in 6 months and received a bonus while working from home.